Hello everyone, my name is Tosif Lakhani. I'm the treasurer of the Sunway International Business Society. Alongside we have Shaira, she is the secretary of the Sunway International Business Society. Today with us we have the Honorable Mr. Chang Yi Hern, who removed his special time to just do our interview. Mr. Chang Yi Hern, please can you introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Yi Hern, and I'm the founder of JomRun app. I'm born in 1996, so I think I'm 24. I'm going to be 24 years old this year. And I did my degree in engineering science at Oxford University about 2 years ago. And I started this company for almost 2 years already right now.
Okay. Uh, Shaira?
All right. Okay. Can you tell us about the famous JomRun app and what does it do? What is your aim of establishing this app?
When we first started the company, right, the application was actually being used to reward a person when the person engaged in fitness activity. So what happened is that when a person start running or walking or they do any physical activities in our application, they get points and they can use the points to redeem vouchers and free gifts in the application. That was how we started the application. But after 8 months creating an application, we pivoted the app and we started doing ticketing. So right now, I would say that the main business that our app conducts is we work with a lot of sports event organizers and we help them to promote and sell the tickets of their sports event in our application.
Okay, great. And may I also know, what is your target group of the JomRun app, and why did you choose the specific target group?
For us, we're actually targeting the general public lah. A lot of people might think that such a sports app has a really niche market, and some people might think that most of the users in our applications, right, are really hardcore fitness enthusiasts. But it's actually not the case. Most of our users are just normal people that are not really super active. Maybe they just run once or twice a week, or sometimes they just run maybe once or twice a month and they join events. And I would say that the target audience that we have in our application right now are people who are 30 to 40 plus years old, because we notice that most of the people who engage in running activities are actually people who are slightly more matured compared to us.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Okay. So, what made you start the JomRun app, and what were the main challenges when you first started doing this JomRun app?
Um, I was actually quite a hardcore athlete when I was still doing my degree and when I was in high school and also in college. That is why when I had this idea of rewarding people with points when they start engaging in fitness activities, I straight away started the company. There wasn't any specific career reason why I started this company. I think it was just when I was doing my degree and I have nothing much to do. So I just started this as a side project, and eventually it became a real business lah. After we got some investment from our investors. And if I were to share one greatest obstacle that I had when I started this business, it would be, I think, lack of experience. Because as a 20 plus years old entrepreneur, when I started this business, I had no experience in full-time job, and I had to make a lot of mistakes to reach where I am right now. Thanks.
Oh, uh, okay. One more thing, Mr. Chang Yi Hern. In terms of funding, how did you manage to secure financially in order to initiate the launch of the app? Since you are when you started the app, you are still a student back.
Yeah. I think, frankly speaking, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. Because I think what happened was after I launched the application in App Store and Play Store by end of 2017, I saw an article in Facebook that Sunway Education Group, they actually started this accelerator program. So what I did was I just applied for the program, and just so lucky that they chose us as one of the companies. And that was how we got our first initial pre-seed funding, which was worth about 50,000 Malaysian ringgit. Yeah, I was just lucky. There were a lot of startups applying for the fund, and I would say that one of the reasons why our company was being chosen as one of the company that they want to fund, I think it's mainly because of the founding team, because that we have a strong founding team,
Yeah.
people that come from different backgrounds.
Oh yeah, and also your hard work, not just luck.
I mean,
Yeah,
luck plays an important role as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's great. Can you please share with us your entrepreneurial experience?
Wow, this is a very vague question.
Big question.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I can share with you guys about lah. But maybe I just share with you guys more on the initial time that I started this business. So when I actually start building on this application, I didn't just write the application myself. I also hired a few other freelancers in India to write the application with me when I was still doing my degree in my university. So that time, just like I believe most of you guys, I didn't have much savings. So what happened was that I need to work a lot of part-time job. I become a private tutor. I work in a bubble tea shop in the UK, and I slowly save up my money in order to start this business. And I think that is one of the hardest part throughout the whole journey of me starting this company.
Yeah, that's a lot of part-time jobs.
Yeah, and I mean definitely my results suffer a lot. I was a first class student in my first year, and after I started this company and started putting in commitment into this entrepreneurial journey, my results plummeted a lot, and I only gotten a second class when I graduated it from Oxford.
So, that's also quite good
I mean,
in
yeah,
Oxford. Yeah.
thanks.
Another question. What are the most important entrepreneurial competencies that are critical for the success of the Malaysian entrepreneurs?
I think there's no hard and fast rule, but if you want me to give you an answer on this, I would say that uh, I think the number one trait that an entrepreneur needs to have is to have the do it mentality. I
Mm.
think there are too many young people nowadays. They always say they want to start a business and they always have a lot of very smart ideas. But what happens is that they just talk about it and they never do anything. And they always think that they are not ready. But I think what happened is that most of the companies are not ready when they start. You have
Yeah.
to start to be ready. So I think
Yes.
the most important thing is to just do it and see what happens. And when a challenge comes, you just solve it, and you don't think about it so much when you first started the business.
Yeah. So in short, basically, you are just advising them, just initiate it. Then you'll know what you have to do.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to just
Study.
initiate it to start
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great.
Right. Okay. Being a high achiever student, obtaining multiple scholarships, and studying in the prestigious university, Oxford University, what inspired you to choose this route rather than the pathway which will assure you with the high-paying job opportunities?
Actually, I think I got into starting a startup by chance. I nearly became a banker. I did two internships in two investment bank. One is M Bank and the other one is JP Morgan. And I was actually planning to go into banking. But I mean, when I do my internship in the bank, I feel the job is interesting. But something that makes me feel quite bored is that I think the potential of joining a company as a full-time job is limited lah. It means that if you join a bank, at most you become the executive director lah. I mean you can see it in 20 or 30 years time, but I think what makes life exciting is that if you don't know what will happen tomorrow, or if you don't know what will happen in the next 10 years or 20 years, I think your life is more interesting. That
Yeah.
is why I think that is one of the reasons why I decided to start on my own company instead of joining a big corporate.
Hmm. Just out of topic question, sir. Do you
Yeah.
think, as you said, like you're about to enter banking and you did internship which looked interesting to you, right? Do you
Yep.
think this job concept is just a like some kind of like trap? Like if you start doing it, you won't feel to initiate your own ideas.
You mean, so your question is, let's say if I join a corporate company,
Yeah.
maybe I won't start a company anymore.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I think to a certain extent it is true lah, because after 2 years starting my own company, I am still meeting up with a lot of my friends, which I have known during my university times. And a lot of them were people that told me they want to start their own company. But right now, after they started a full-time job, they have commitments, they need to rent a house, they need to buy a car, and then they need to use their salary to buy all these things. So in a lot of times, they always say, I want to go to join a company to gain some full-time experience first before I want to start my own company. But based on the examples that I see, a lot of people, they just continue working and they forget about what they dreamt for. Due to
Okay.
the commitments and also due to the peer pressure, because they are surrounded by people that are all in corporate.
So it's like once they start getting like secure amount of payment, then they don't really feel like to take risks, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I do understand them. Let's say if you are making
Yeah.
20,000 ringgit a month, would
Yeah.
you, yeah,
Yes. Correct.
but when I was a student, I wasn't making anything. I had no opportunity cost. But right now, if they were to start a business, they have a big opportunity cost that they need to think about
Yeah.
before they start it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I believe a lot of people are curious to know about this. What were your family and friends' initial view regarding your app idea?
Uh, in short, they are not very supportive. Definitely, they are not very supportive, especially people who are closer to you, because uh, definitely for a traditional Asian family mindset, most of the parents and most of your friends will think that starting a company when you're still a student is quite risky. So yeah, in short, I think they are not very supportive. But over the time, after I gotten funding from Sunway, after I gotten funding from angel investors, I think they gain more confidence on what I'm doing, and eventually they support me lah.
Oh, so once they've seen your base that it's strong, then they
Yeah,
started supporting you.
yeah, because for the older generation, they don't even understand how smartphone apps make money.
Yeah.
They just don't understand. So yeah,
So
like
they
that lah.
require assurance first, right? Like at least
Yep.
like you are in a good path, then they started believing in you.
Yeah, and that at that point of time they were thinking that I was in such a good position that I
Yeah.
can join big companies, like Google, Facebook, and why I don't want to join these companies and why I want to start my own company.
Yeah.
People ask me questions like that, and I was under full scholarship to do my master's degree in Oxford, and I give up on that lah. And
Yeah.
people also ask me the same question, so yeah lah.
So, but you just believed in your own idea, right? And like
Yep, yep.
hopefully we have the results now. Yeah.
Yes, and I got kind of bored with studies that time. So I just decided to stop studying and start my own business.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When you first started to launch the app, do you have any backup plans if the app did not go the way you desire it to be?
I didn't have any backup plans, but I think I didn't have any backup plans because I think I'm still young. That time I was thinking that if my startup really fails, then the worst thing that is going to happen to me is I just going to look for another full-time job, and I start working for another company. So I think that was my plan if my company failed. But I think when I started, my mind wasn't thinking about any backup plans.
Mm.
Alright.
So you
You
basically
just
like
jump to it.
yeah. So you're like you have like kind of backup plan was not, but was not in your plan. Like either if you fail,
Yep,
which you didn't expect to, you will just
yep.
join the full time job, right?
Because I think very little entrepreneurs will even think about their business to fail before they started.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think very
Mm.
little people think about that. Normally, you feel very optimistic and you feel very passionate in it. That's why you started the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think very little people have a plan B after they started the company.
Okay. During the 2 months where you received no response from the companies in Malaysia when you contacted them, how did you stay motivated to keep going until you managed to get the financial support from Sunway and the next year?
Actually, if you ask me right now, I also don't know. I also don't know why that time I was so motivated to do this event. I mean, looking at that time, I guess I was just like a white piece of paper. Like I had no experience, and I just try. If I fail, then I change the way I do things and I try again. If you ask me right now, when I think about it, I still think that time I was quite crazy. 2 months gotten rejected straight away. Every day I got rejected, and I still continue doing the same thing. I think it is pure motivation and pure passion. Even if even when people ask me this question right now, I also don't understand, because right now, after the business is successful, I no longer encounter problems like that. Right now, if I got rejected for 1 week straight, I feel very disappointed. But last time, I can do that for 2 months.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great, great.
Okay. Alright. At Sunway Education Group, the development of students' character, integrity, and self-confidence is promoted. How do you perceive constructive criticism as a tool to accomplish this objective?
I think when I first started the company and when I presented my startup to a lot of investors, a lot of them asked me a lot of questions, and they question about the business model of our company, which I think if you are the founder of your company, definitely you will feel a little bit personal on that. But I think this is part of improving the business, because every time when you have a very smart idea, you always think your idea is perfect, but when you start telling it to people, you actually need people to look at it in a constructive way and give you feedback and tell you that some of the things that you say might not work. And I think sometimes, even though we might take it personally, but when we go home and when we think about it later, we have to think about it on a professional level. And I think this one really helps a lot. If if uh, if I didn't listen to any of my mentors or any of the people's advisors, I think my company already failed long time ago.
Hmm. So let's say, Mr. Changi, and this is also another like
Yep.
out of topic question. Like currently, my friend like also has idea,
Yep.
but and he has also like his team. But thing is like his team are not like giving that much input as my friend. So he's like getting bit of demotivated because it's
Yep.
a whole plan together. Like that's a team. So how do you advise like if it's there in that situation, how to like keep going?
I think one of the most important thing when you start a business is you need to form a team with members with different strength. For example, and in most of the circumstances, looking for your friends to start a business is not the perfect way, because most of the time you and your friend are the same kind of person. For example, if you play computer games, then your friend might be also be the kind that play computer games. If you are a salesperson, it's very likely that your friend is also a salesperson. If you are very good in admin work, it's very likely that your friend is also very good in admin work. But if you form a team with everyone with the same strength, I think it's very hard to make the company success, because everyone is an expert in the same area, and for the area that nobody is an expert, nobody can do the job. So I think if your friend is in that circumstances, maybe he should talk to all of his friends and ask them whether they seriously want to do this project. If they don't want, then your friend should consider doing it himself, or maybe look for other partners that have complementary skill sets with
Oh,
him.
so
Yeah.
basically, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, may I ask, like, when you first started, did you do it all by yourself or do you have your team beside you?
I mean, when I first started lah, I did it
Yeah.
myself. But maybe when I was building the prototype, I started involving a designer friend of mine. And then
Okay.
after that, when I want to launch it in the market, I bring in another co-founder, which helped me to handle operations. And two of them are very different compared to me. They are not really my friend. They were my acquaintance. One of them was my high school classmate, and the other one was my kindergarten friend. But I mean, I'm not really close with them, but they are very different people compared to me. So in our team, I think the mechanism is quite is quite good. Like I handle the business part, and then my other co-founder handle the operations part and admin matters, and the other co-founder of mine handle design, creative, and HR matters. So three of us have very different strength and weakness, which I think works very well.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great input for us.
So like in short, you are saying like do not choose your friends when you want to start a
No lah,
project.
I'm not saying that you don't choose your friend, but I mean most of the time, your friends and you are the same kind of people.
Similar
And
personality.
for example, I ask you a question. Let's say if you are a businessman and your friend is also another businessman. When there's a new deal coming in, you might have your own opinion, and your friend has his own opinion, and then the other friend has his another opinion. And then when three of you sit down together, it's very hard. But let's say if it comes to design, you cannot design, your friend also cannot design, your other friend also cannot design, then you have to spend money in hiring another designer. So this is the disadvantage of having a group of similar people starting a company. Yeah.
This one I never thought about it.
Yeah, I never thought about it as well.
Yeah,
It's really
nice.
cool.
I think this is one of the very important things. And I have to say that when you start a company and when you first look for your first round of funding, right, a lot of investors, they don't look at your idea. I mean, they look at your idea, but the most important thing they look at is your team. Because you have nothing yet, you might have an MVP, but if you think about it, right, all these investors, they are people that have a lot of money. If they have the money, they have the network, and they think your idea is brilliant, why they want to work with you? Why they don't want to copy you? They can just copy your idea. So if you think about it, in the end, when you look for your first round of funding, the most important thing is the team that you are building. They are investing in the team and in the people, but not in the idea most of the time.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, sir, like about as you already mentioned about the copying.
Yep.
What are the like the risk with the like if you share your ideas, the high risk of it being copied. How do you avoid that?
Actually, most of the business ideas can be copied.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest, I would say, misconceptions of starting a startup is people are always waiting for the brilliant idea. But frankly speaking, idea is only a very, very, very small percentage of making a business successful. Most of it comes on execution. For example, when Grab started my taxi, I think about 7 or 8 years ago, they are not the first one that started an e-hailing company, but they are the one that turns out to be successful. And when Amazon started e-commerce, they are also not the first one that started e-commerce. So I would say that if you seriously want to start a startup, you shouldn't think that your asset is in the idea itself, because your idea, definitely some people will copy it. But if your idea is good, people will copy it. If your idea is not good, then you will lose money. So you have to think about it as it's about hard work and it's about the execution. You need to execute things properly. It's not so much about an idea, I would say. But a good idea definitely helps you in the business. An idea with a very painful problem and a very good solution will help you a lot in terms of growing the business. But it is not the X factor in making the business a success.
So basically you're saying idea is the important thing, but it's not the important thing.
It's important, but it's not the
Like the main.
necessary thing to make your business successful. For
most
example, if
sorry.
you and your friends are very, very strong people, right? You can always open a restaurant and you can be successful in the restaurant as well. And opening a restaurant doesn't require any special ideas.
Yeah. So basically the main thing is the execution and the team along with the idea.
Yes.
Oh,
I think so. I think it's execution and the team. And I think your team has to be very adaptive when you first started the company. Has to be very flexible and very adaptive. And be
so
really passionate in what you are doing.
So even if they still have a plan or idea, if they don't have motivation, even if the idea is good, they will fail. If they don't have the motivation
Definitely.
to team. Yeah, I get.
Definitely. If even if your idea is good, if your team is bad, you are not going to make it anywhere. Because if somebody notice you are doing this, they can just copy you, and they can just beat you. Even if you apply for IP or trademark or anything, right? nothing can really protect you.
Yes.
It's it just depend on your team and your
Yeah,
motivation.
nothing can really protect you. Mm.
Okay, so back to the topic. With the ongoing global pandemic, companies around the world were negatively affected, and even the multinational companies are badly affected. So, what were the challenges that JomRun app faced, and how did you manage to minimize the effect of it?
I mean, it's very unfortunate that we are one of the industries that are most heavily impacted by this COVID-19 pandemic. The first reason is because during this pandemic period, no mass participation events can be organized. So if no mass participation events can be organized, it means that no sporting events can be organized. No running events, no marathons, no cycling events can be organized. So for us, we lost all the revenue. So what happened in March is that from March to April, our in-app revenue dropped 95%. Dropped 95%, which is a lot. And we were forced to restructure our company. So what we did was we pivoted our business model, and we started organizing virtual runs. And even until today, the total revenue of the company today is only 20% of what we are getting before MCO started.
Oh,
So
that's
we
nice.
actually reduce the revenue and increase our margin to make our business stay afloat.
Oh, that's a massive drop.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
yeah,
I mean, we are not the only startup that is being affected by this pandemic.
most people. Yeah, there are
The,
many
Yes.
companies.
the biggest one is Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then there's this OVO
Tourism.
hotel chain.
Yeah.
OVO.
There are many.
A lot of them also like that lah. What to do?
Yes. It
I
is.
also transport badly affected. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Airline industry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are coming to an end of this interview already, but then we have another question to ask. So,
Yep.
what will be your advice to Sunway students who have the idea to start up a business but are too scared to initiate it by going out of their comfort zone? Besides this, just do it. Just do it. Advice. Besides
Okay.
that,
I think the first thing is if you want to start a business with your friends or with any partners, you have to always be prepared that you are the one that is going to be the disadvantaged party, which means maybe, for example, maybe you should expect that you do more work than your friend, but you are getting 50% of the profit. You should expect that because I think in any point of time when you are running the business, everyone in the team will feel that they are the one that is doing more work. So this is the first suggestion that I want to give to any of you that wants to start a business with your friend. You have to always be prepared to be the one that is in the disadvantaged position. Okay, that's number one. Number two is I think if you have time, it's good for you to join another company as an intern. Big company also can, small company also can, but I think at least you need to have minimal experience in corporate working culture and also in SMEs. I think that will help you a lot when you are structuring your team in your business lah. I think these two things is very important. And then the third thing is, uh, I think there's no shortcut lah. You just have to launch it, and then if there's any challenge, you have to face it, solve it, and then if you cannot solve it, then you have to figure out how to solve it. I think that's it lah.
Yeah.
I yep, and I think another very not so mainstream advice is you don't have to focus so much on theoretical frameworks such as business model canvas or I mean it's good to know but you don't have to focus so much on that lah. Actually, I think starting a company is very practical. You just start it and then you just do it. You don't
Oh,
have to think so much on.
yeah. So, just another question, sir. Sorry.
Yep.
We learned so much in the university, right? So many business models, like theoretical, so many, like out of count.
Yep.
How do you think, as you are experienced entrepreneur, how do you think till what extent is this useful in the real life?
No, don't get me wrong. Definitely what you guys are learning right now, like the business model canvas
Yeah.
or the four pillars of all those things is definitely very important. But I tell you one thing when you are out doing a startup let's say if you say you want to open a restaurant beside Sunway University, do you really go and take an Excel sheet and go and calculate how many population, what is the target market size, what is your financial, what is the financials going to be like in the next 6 months? You are not going to do that. You are not going to do that. So I think what you learn right now is very good because it helps you to make quick decisions in the future. For example, when you are looking for a location to open up a restaurant, you will look for a location that has most populated location, but you won't be doing the theoretical Excel thing. For
So
example, business model canvas. When you start a business, you don't really need to take a paper out and go and do everything, but at least you think about it when you start a business. I think it's useful, but you don't need to use it until like exam level.
Yeah,
Ah,
okay. Because the SWOT analysis, the
Yep.
pastel framework, the Porter diamond forces,
yeah.
that
Yes.
all. Yeah.
I mean,
So
those are very useful when you are thinking, but you don't really do that when you're working.
Not
so
very
it's
practical.
yeah, it's like it's not that useful when you initiate, but it's very helpful when to maintain our business, is it?
I mean, yeah, it's very useful for you it forms the foundation when
Yeah.
you're making a decision.
Mm.
Trust me, if you start a business, when you are making decision, you will think about all these things
Just
automatically.
like yeah,
Ah,
yeah. I
yeah.
got it.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much for your time,
Okay.
Mr. Chang Yi Hern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah, to remove like you have precious time. I know you are like very busy currently
Oh, no
because of
worries, no worries.
the pandemic. Thank you so much for accepting our invite. Yeah, and like thank you for your advice for Sunway University student.
Oh, no
Have a
problem.
nice
Pleasure
day.
is mine. You
We
too.
hope to see you in the future.
Me too.
And yeah, good luck in your future endeavors and everything.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Okay, bye bye.